Hi guys, and welcome again to another Vixen Plays segment. I know it's been an awful long time since I last showed you guys anything, but I've recently been playing a hell of a lot of Rimworld. It's been out for quite a while, but I kind of put off buying it. I'm a bit of a skinflint when it comes to buying new games, and two, I've been super busy IRL with work and stuff. And family too, but I won't go into that right now. So this time I'm going to be playing around with, it's a custom made scenario that I did. It's based on a single female colonist of the Ferian race, which is a mod that is available to download on the Steam Workshop. And I've set her off as an escaped slave who's taken her 2 children, and they've got to survive on Randy Random difficulty. I think I put him down as rough, I believe, and they've got to, obviously they've crash landed here with minimum resources, so we're going to see how they do. Now I'm still learning this game. I have a huge amount of mods installed just because there's so many, and seriously the modding community for this is amazing. So we have Veritas, which is clearly the mother, and we have Rozoa, and we have Darval, her 2 children who she saved after overhearing a plan that she didn't like the sounds of. Upon discovering this place, they found 3 little animals here which they've tamed, and they're all theirs now. Now you can see the objects here. We have some logs to start the scenario with, we have some steel, and we have only 10 components. And there's a few packaged survival meals. So having a look around the map, there's quite a few places we can start at. Just get rid of that menu there. And I quite like the look of this area here. This top area looks cool too, but there's like a lake here, which I think to start with might be a little tricky. Now the biome I chose only has like 20 out of 60 growing days, I think. I did the usual create seed, full world, because I like 100% coverage. I have an awful lot of custom factions as well, so the world is kind of populated, which is nice. I also have permanent winter scenario selected just because it makes it that little bit more difficult, and I quite like that. So we're on 6 o'clock in the morning of day 1, so let's see what we can do. Actually, I think I might go for this area up here. There's a couple of resources here. We've got some iron ore. I believe that's from Lord of the Rim, which is a Lord of the Rings-esque mod that was developed by some really cool modders. So let's take a look. We'll go and we will build the wooden wall. Here, obviously, you can see that I have a furniture pack as well. So I think if we build just up in this corner here, we just need a place to put some beds down first to start with, just so they've got some cover and somewhere to rest for today. I also think this area here should be quite easily defensible, well, from here, because I believe this section's mud. Let me just... Now it's rich soil, so we could potentially build on top of that. Okay, so let's get the initial sleeping area under construction. That all being well, my little colonist will now run over and collect all the stuff. So here they start building their little area that they're going to have their beds in. If you want to know about any of the mods that I'm using, please feel free to ask in the comments or drop me a message and I'll answer as soon as I can. I basically thought doing this kind of scenario would be fun to sort of follow as kind of a series. Obviously, you know, I'm new to streaming, so doing the video section, new to streaming, new to YouTube, let's say, and I find it quite a struggle to set a regular schedule up. So I figured doing a series would probably be a viable option, because then I can play in like little short bursts and record, and with minimal editing obviously, because that takes all the fun out of it. And there I go again with the arms. I promise I am trying not to do that as much. I know I'm terrible for it. So I didn't really want to speed this up too much, so you can see how they're doing with the building. I mean, really they should be hauling, so... But we'll just get this set up first. Now, I am going to put a floor down. We have some easy little floors to build somewhere. This one here, I believe, is from the Gloomy Furniture pack, the mod, which is kind of cool. Bamboo floor, I'm not sure where that's from. It might be from the Rimworld mod, which I only installed today. So you've got some dark wood planks there, you've got some light wood planks, 3-foot floor, boulder rest stool. I'm assuming that is a stool made out of stacked boulders by the description of it. But we'll go for this wood floor. It's pretty basic. The beauty level, you can have it that way or you can have it that way, 2 different directions. So let's go for this one. It's super simple, it adds a bit of beauty to the place, and the colonists don't seem to be quite so angry about stuff when they've got nice things to look at. I'm also going to put a roof area over the stockpile here. Eventually I'll wall it in, but at the minute I want to make sure that the colonists have got somewhere nice to sleep. So we'll just add a little roof area over here, just to try and make things last a little bit longer. Okay, so I can't do that because I haven't got rid of the trees. So let's get rid of the trees first. I'm also going to set my animals off to tame. Look at the colonists to start trying to tame them at least. Well, apparently I've managed to spawn myself a wolf that has got asthma, which is interesting, so we'll have to fix that at some point. Now, I do like to play in quite difficult biomes, so hopefully this will go... It'll go one of two ways. It'll either go really well or we'll die within the first couple of tries. Now I'm going to speed this bit up just so they build a little bit quicker. We're now at almost 3 PM on day 1. As you can see, the floor's coming on nicely, and we'll just slow it down again. So we're going to need 3 beds once they finish building here. So let's go to the gloomy furniture, the old style furniture rather. And I think we'll put 3 single beds in to start with. There we go, that's your 3 beds. And if we add the end table, it should give them a comfort buff anyway. So you can see the stuff that they're not too happy about here, like they're not very happy because they haven't got anything to do, it's dark, they're wet, they're uncomfortable, and they've eaten without a table. But the first thing we are doing obviously is setting up a safe space for them to sleep. With the work you can set who hauls, who crafts, who does everything. Generally the stuff with two flames means they're really passionate about that sort of job, and they get a happiness buff for doing that. With 1 flame the same, and then they don't get any bonuses from doing stuff that they don't enjoy. Just like real life, I guess. So she's complaining about not having any lights, so let's put a little wall lamp up. We'll put one here outside the door. No, I don't actually have any tallow wax yet. That's another add-on that I found. There's so many just sort of enrich the gameplay experience. I'm not sure where they're going now. Have they run out of wood? Let's see. What are these? Gigantalope. I have a ton of animal mods too. Just because I feel like it adds a lot to the game if you've got a diverse flora and fauna in the world. You know, you've got peach trees, berry bushes, there's even some mushrooms and a glow root, which is not at all like Nern root, of course. But it's a really cool game. There's so much variation. I literally can't get enough of this at the minute. So the plan for this is, Veritas is obviously going to find, she's found a little safe spot to have her children safe and sound away from the horrific place that they've just escaped from. So we're going to focus on making it habitable and safe and secure. So we'll probably put some traps in at some point, and later on when we've researched enough, then we'll add sentry guns, etc. Yeah, they're still hauling stuff, so let's speed it up a little bit. So Rosawa's lucky enough to get to sleep in her bed, and Veritas and Darvel are sleeping outside. So by the end of day 1, we've built ourselves a small shelter with a storage area and started hauling things over. We have the animals set to roam freely, because that way, in theory, they will hunt animals and feed themselves, which will relieve a lot of the pressure from our colonists for finding food for them. Now I do actually have this scenario able to upload to the Steam Workshop. If enough of you want me to do that, I can do that, but if not, I'm quite happy just to play with this by myself. So we're on to day 2. Darvel is cloud watching to help satisfy his recreational needs. Veritas is grabbing a little bite to eat. And I'm going to set some orders for chopping wood. Oh, and then we have some chunks of spacecraft impacted nearby. We have a purple ship chunk, 2 of those, and 1 normal ship chunk. So we'll get those to deconstruct. Let's see what lovely materials we get from there. Well, the temperature's not too bad here. It's 15 degrees Celsius, so I don't have to worry about them freezing to death at the minute. And there's the little light up. They are fueled, so you do have to refuel them with wood or whatever else. So I believe Veritas is going to deconstruct the ship chunk. And we shall see what she gets out of them, because again, this is a new mod and I don't actually know what you get from the different coloured ship chunks. So we'll take a look at that. So while she's doing that, her children are, well, they've tended to the wolf because he's had an asthma attack, which isn't great. And they're hauling some stuff back over to the stockpiles. Veritas is almost done. Now I'm going to pause this here. That seems a little OP for this add-on. Not complaining. So we have 150 silver, 30 gold, 6 components, and 210 steel from that one. Not too shabby. So they can be hauled over to the stockpile. Right, I'm going to set Rosoa to cutting down this wood so we can get the house built a little bit better for them. So it's super easy to queue up actions, you literally just shift click. Now let's see why she's unhappy. Now she had disturbed sleep. Oh, I also have the hygiene mod. I believe it's Dub's hygiene. Let's have a look. So this is how many I have. I have alpha animals. Oh, there's so many. Dub's bad hygiene mod. That's the one that I was talking about. Mother and son having a quick chat. So they now have a nice, simple little house there to sleep in. So now we need to look at a kitchen, somewhere to eat, because they obviously get bonuses if they have a nice dining room and less problems if they're not starving to death, obviously. So let's have a look. Let's first off gather some more wood. Not a lot we can do without wood, I'm afraid, so we'll carry on with the gathering of items. I believe she's deconstructed all of the ship chunks there, which is super duper helpful. Now I'm thinking at some point I'll probably end up expanding outwards into the mountains, as colonies do as they progress. There you can see the stats of the bedroom. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And it'll keep them going just until we've built something else. We'll just chop some more wood until we have a stonecutter's table. Although to be fair, I should probably build, I think actually, I won't build the research bench just yet. Let's get the food situation sorted out first. Again, we'll set the floors down just so they've got somewhere so it looks nice. Heaven forbid if their houses look terrible. Don't want any mental breaks going on with these. Now I am going to build a wood-fired generator on fairly early on, only because I want to use the freezers. It's a really simple way of keeping your food fresh and not running out of food. And because there's only 3 of them, it shouldn't be too difficult. So I'm literally going to enclose this back area with a door. I can't because I've run out of wood. Okay, so let's chop some more wood then. So we'll close this back area off here with a door, and we're going to mine these couple of sections out at the top here, just so we can stick a power generator there really. Now we also have a mod that adds, they're called housekeeper cats to the game. They're really cool. They spend their time literally going around and cleaning your home. Obviously you have to tame them and keep them fed, but I think it's quite an important trade-off. It's also a cool alternative to the robot. Now Rousseau is still quite happily chopping logs. Well, even if she's not happily doing it, she's doing it because we need this stuff. So I'm going to tell her brother Darvel to hurry up and haul the wood over to the storage pile. Because the closer it is, the less time it takes to do things. Alveritus is stargazing. That would be to satisfy her recreational needs. Her mood's not terrible, it's halfway. Darvel is almost the same, and so is Rozoa. So we're not doing too bad so far. No majorly terrible events have happened so far, so Randy Random is actually kind of being kind to us. Which makes a change, because usually he's pretty brutal. So I'm going to add some pet sleeping spots, because it's just occurred to me that I didn't actually put those in. So we'll put them in the same rooms as the colonists. Because then in theory, if they're attacked, then the animals will leap to their defense. Well, while they're sleeping, I'm going to set some more orders. Now, I do want this to be a fairly decent size because I want some freezers in here. I'll probably end up turning a side area into a walk-in freezer at some point, just because it makes it easier for storing bodies and accessing meat rather quickly when you need it for cooking. So on to the end of day 2, and we have a kitchen area partially built, kitchen diner, and a little room ready for the fuel generator, I believe it was I planned on putting in there. Let's just check. Yeah, the wood-fired generator is going to go in there. Now we could do the human power generator, but I don't actually have any prisoners or slaves to set to work on that yet. I could use the wind turbine, but that's not 100% reliable. And the most important thing to start with is to get somewhere safe to sleep and then somewhere to feed your colonists. I'll also look at the recreation. We have, oh, these are new from a new mod that I installed. We also have an archery target that's for relaxation really. There's a shooting target which does actually allow you to train your shooting skill, and the martial arts is for your melee skill. But for the meantime, I'm going to put a horseshoe pin down. So we'll just speed through them sleeping. Nobody wants to watch that. Okay, and we're on to day 3. So at the minute they're all cloud watching, which seems like an interesting way to pass the time. So the next thing to do after we have got the food sorted and the power sorted for the freezers is to look at the security options for the base, because the last thing we want is a little raid to hit us and cause some serious damage. So we'll just finish this off. Another handy side effect of having pet animals, especially carnivores, is that they will go off and they will attack other animals to feed themselves, and whatever's left you can haul back to the colony, which is great if you don't have particularly skilled colonists when it comes to shooting or melee. So there we can see a timber wolf had been attacked and it's currently being dragged back to the base. Can't actually see any other animal corpses though around the area, so I'm assuming that's the only one so far. So we have the generator down. I'll add some power lines in a second. Do you ever get like sometimes where you're looking for an option and it doesn't matter how many times you look at something you actually can't find it? So I'm there flicking through the menus, I can't find it. Or is that just me? It's probably just me. So I'm going to put this on 2-speed just so they can get on with their daily life. So we have a few more pieces of flooring. We're also going to need Rosoa to finish off chopping these trees down, I believe. So she has a nice little task list to be getting on with. Darvel is hauling them back to the stockpile, which is perfect, and Mama Veritas is currently manning away at the wall to get rid of some of the stone to make it a bigger area for them to cozy up in. Now we still have 25 survival meals left, which is more than enough, but I don't want the timber wolf to go rotten without using it. So we have the generator in, so let's have a look for the freezers. Now I'm going to put a quad refrigerator in because it holds more. So I'm just going to plonk that at the top there, and that's literally just to store any raw food that we get. And it also means that I can stockpile some medicine then, such as the glow root, which is very similar to heal root. We have the mushrooms that we can harvest. We have the wild heal roots, which is slightly different to the other heal roots. Oh, Darvel has now reached level 7 in construction. So we now have a freezer, and if I set it with storage, you can choose what goes in there. But for the time being, I'm literally just going to click allow all because I have no specialist storage set up. So that means we can store everything. Everything that's perishable, obviously. So we're going to set the mushrooms to harvest. We'll also grab some wild heal roots, the glow root. There's a much quicker way of doing this rather than individually selecting. You just go to orders, go to harvest, and you can literally just highlight an area like so, but you can't see that. So let's do it here where there's some berry bushes. There you go, look. And we have a group of travellers from the Shire passing by. Now, they're not going to visit. Just passing by, you've got, what's that, 6 people just having a wander through. You can see the route that they're going to take. So they will pass by, but they won't cause any problems because they're hobbits. They're all happy and sleeping, so let's have a look today. We have a decent bedroom, and the only things that they're upset about is having minor pain, they're hungry, and ate without a table. That's Davul. Mama Veritas has disturbed sleep like any real life mother. She ate without a table, she pooped in the open, which she's not happy about. She doesn't like how her environment looks, and she's hungry. And Rozoa, pretty much the same as her brother. She's not particularly bothered about the environment. I think they're just happy to be safe at this point. So the stockpile is filling up fast. So we'll prioritise hauling the survival meals into the freezer as soon as they wake up. So let's speed time up again to get through night. Oh, there's 2 of them up already. Now we're going to set the freezer priority to critical, because that way they'll prioritise moving everything into there. As you can see, Davul is now taking the Timberwolf corpse and putting it in the freezer to save for later. And hopefully he'll move the survival meals. And there we go, he's collecting them all up and he's going to go put them in the freezer. There we go. Now we should give our faction a name. Oh, choices. So, seeing as how I am Bubblevixen, let's have the Covenant of Vixen hat. And I think we'll have the settlement as Vixen's Rest. Oh, I know. There we go, that will do. Not particularly original, but it'll do for now. So Rosaura is still chipping away at the wall, Mama Veritas is still sleeping, and Davul is gathering wood to the hauling inventory. So they have 23 meals at the minute, there's nothing urgent going on there. So let's see what else. Now wood it's not ideal for building with because it's highly flammable. So let me just finish putting these floors down in here. You tend to find if you don't have floors down, you're also quite prone to infestations where you get a hell of a lot of bugs crack up through the floor and they'll attack everything in sight, and it's no fun because they're actually quite strong. I've had many a colony wiped out because of those in the early stages. Now I am going to put a stonecutter's table down because I want to start doing some more flooring as well. So I'm just going to crank it down there in the bedroom. You can move it later on, that's not a problem. So Rosaura's busy helping Mama mine, and Davul is gathering steel to haul in inventory. Where's he gone? Ah, okay. I also found another quite a funky mod actually. It's where they, instead of just picking up one item, they'll gather everything closest to that item that needs hauling back, and they'll do it all in one lot. It's kind of like a common sense mod, which makes a lot of sense. So he's going to drag that all the way back here. Now, I believe Veritas is going to build the table now. Which would be kind of cool, because then we can set some orders up for them to start building the bricks. Because we have enough chunks lying around, and it should just free some of the stockpile up. So we'll just speed it up a little bit again. There we go, that's the basic kitchen finished, the shell, and now we literally just need to add the butchering table and the cooking stoves and a table to eat from. Ah, okay, here's Butterscotch in action, killing one of these lovely looking gigantoles. Now she's only eaten 23% of the corpse, so that is actually available for the colonists to haul back to the little house and store it for later for butchering. So we have the stone cutters table, so I'm just going to pause it while we add some things for them to do. Now I'm not particularly bothered what they cut, so I'm just going to put it as make any stone blocks and do forever. It just makes things a little bit easier, because that way the stone blocks will automatically be done as soon as they're in the stockpile, in theory anyway. Now we have power at least, let's add some more lights to the house. Now one I like to use is the ceiling fan, because it also helps keep places cool, which is kind of handy in the event of a heat wave. But it also has a built-in light. Sarah is quite happy, and she's not ready for bed yet. She wants to play a little bit more. So her needs, she's having something to eat, and then she's going to head to bed, I believe. Now we have some thrombos that have come into the area. Now obviously my colonists are nowhere near ready for these. Oh, we have some more dead animals, so we'll just allow those, so that we can gather those and add them to the freezer. There's quite a few actually. You can see my wolves have been quite busy. So I believe I am, in actual fact, going to build another freezer. No such thing as too much food. Now these beehives are from another mod that I have. I forget what it's called. It's got its own little section called bees. You can build your own wooden bee house and make honey related products. It's all really cool. So our first random event, we've got Psychic Soothe, which is actually, again, that's another positive event. I'm not quite sure what's going on here because Randy Random usually sends me horrible events and it's been quite nice this time. So we're getting the second freezer built and the ceiling fan. So now we have something set up, we need to start thinking about food prep. So we'll put a nice little dining table down, just a simple one. And we'll add some dining chairs to that. Obviously I'm not going to worry about too many because there's only 3 of them at the minute. Now we have a choice between a fuel stove or an electric stove. Now I am going to go for the electric stove purely because I have a generator in it already. So with that, we're also going to need a butcher's table. Again, we'll allow all on there so they can store everything there so that we don't waste the gigantalope. So again, we need more wood, so let's take a look at the wood that we need. Just select an area and get chopping, I guess. At the minute we have 120 sandstone blocks, so I'm just going to build a floor with sandstone tiles just to tile that off and reduce the risk of infestations. We have another level up for Rozoa. She too is now level 7 in construction. So we are almost at the end of day 5 of the colony building. And so far we've not done too bad. We have a new bedroom with a small work area. We have a kitchen area in progress. And we also have a power room. So the butcher's table is ready to go, so we're going to add Bill and we're going to butcher Creature. And we're going to set that as do forever. Just because, again, I'm lazy and it makes my life easy. So they take whatever's in stock in the freezers, they'll clean up a little bit before they go ahead and butcher it to get the meat, and then they'll just store that in the freezer. So we are actually missing a little bit of wood from there, so Rozoa's clearly been busy chopping wood, so Darvel is going to go and gather the wood, I believe. So just before Rozoa decides to head to bed, I am going to set her the task of cutting a few more oak trees down. Whoops. And then when she's done that, she can go to bed. So we'll just speed things up a little bit. So she's going to quite happily chop those down. Her brother can haul the wood back while Mama gazes at the stars, I suppose. Now with the slaughtering of the animals, we also begin to get a nice little stockpile of animal furs and such. So again, before Darvel heads to bed, we'll get him to haul a little bit more wood back to the colony, and then he too can go for a little sleep. So at the end of day 5, we're not doing too bad, we're a little bit further on. And again, we'll speed up through the sleeping because nobody wants to watch people sleeping. Now Rozoa is up and about, and she decided, due to her restrictions that I've placed on her, she is going to deal with her recreational needs first. Veritas has woken up, decided, no, do you know what, I'm going to eat first, and then I'm going to go see what else needs doing. She's going to crack right on with the butchering. After she cleans, of course. So we still only need about 21 wood for the electric stove, and we need another 123 for the table for them to eat from. So we have 39 there, another 33 there, so we're going to get Rozoa to chop a little bit more wood. And that is another one of the events. We now have a heat wave. So with 15 degrees in here, which is bearable, and we have 15 degrees in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a ceiling fan into this room, into the kitchen area. So we'll set those for building, and the colonists will get to that as soon as they can. So we now have the stove up and running. So now we have meat in stock, we can also start training the animals, and they will haul things for us. They'll actually do quite a lot. They'll rescue us if we get shot and all sorts of things. So you can see Darble training his wolf Chocolata, sorry. So we have Chocolata, Doll and Butterscotch. I think we almost have enough for, oh, we have some iron more. We almost have enough to build the table. We're at 95 resources. We have 75 in storage there and 57 there, so we have more than enough to build the table now. So we have a safe place to sleep, a safe place to eat. So now we just need to set about securing the colony. So I think for this, we're going to need them to do some sandstone blocks. So we'll get them to haul that back to the stockpile. And we'll see if there's any more, because I'm going to build some traps. Walled-in traps, preferably. So they come under security, and again I have another, yet another mod for deadfall traps. They're very similar to the spike traps, but the deadfall traps are more like when Rimworld was first released, where it didn't cost materials to reset them. You would literally just put them back to how they were, and they would be able to be sprung again. So I think I'm going to set these to haul, and they'll come back and we'll get them building some traps. Walls and traps, you'll see why in a minute. Now the reason I keep using these walls is, again, with another mod, they have more hit points than the standard walls, which is super helpful when you've got stupid raids banging at your colony's door. So we're going to do a sandstone wall from, let's see, now, I'm a massive fan of these corridors. So what happens is you tend to set the corridor up and you give them an easy entry, which is here. Now, because it's open, it always makes it more of an attractive target to go for than it does, say, a door. So the raiders will come in here, and you line this area with the deadfall traps, so they have to travel across all of the deadfall traps, and 9 times out of 10 it kills them before they actually get into your colony. Which is a really fun way of doing it, or at least I think it is anyway. So I'll have them work on the doors. In actual fact, I'm going to get Darvel. Oh, no, he can't work on that. Neither can Mama. And neither can Rozoa, so I've set them to build a table that they can't even build yet. Which wasn't very smart of me, I suppose. But the walls will help level their construction skill. Well, I'm going to get Darvel to try and haul some more blocks back. I'll get him to do that while they're building. So in the first week of the colony being established, our Veritas escaping with her children, they've managed to set up a nice little area to sleep in. They have a bedroom, they have a kitchen and diner, they also have a reliable power source. And they just started building their defences. All in all, it's looking quite promising so far, and on that note I will leave that for episode number 1. So hopefully I will see you again next time. If you would like to see anything in the next videos, please let me know. And it's been wonderful having you. Thank you very much. I shall see you all again soon.